Yes, the chat that I'm not part of.
You know what? It's
My
head
coaches
coaches
only.
only, but it is strictly about business. Thank you for joining. I am Kate Broddick, and you are in the vault with the Kate Broddick team. And I am just so excited to have the one and only Nicki Serravalle, who is co-owner of REVEL Realty with Ryan Serravalle, who we actually had as our first guest this year. So thank you for making the big drive from Niagara to Norfolk County.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm excited because it's a different perspective, having Ryan as he's really out there in terms of recruitment and leading the offices, and he sells.
Mm-hmm.
And you are just as much, but there's a lot of in behind the scenes. And I think from a female perspective, I was really excited to end the year with such a vibrant and trailblazing female entrepreneur who is married to someone who is like one of the faces of real estate, right? So
yeah, it was. I actually really appreciated you reaching out to me, and honored to be here today. And it was funny because last year, like you said, Ryan was in this position, and he does offer a completely different perspective than myself. And the way we operate is very different as well. We have the same goals, but we operate very differently.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I want to get into today, because I think from, Ryan does a lot of keynote speaking. I love hearing. He's actually one of my favorite speakers on the stages at the conferences. One, because he's so passionate and he's so authentic. He's just a real person, a very humble, genuine human being. But he also tells the story about how he came to fall into real estate, about your family's his family's history in Italy. I just saw you got your Greece passport, so I had to correct myself that. But also from your perspective, I was with you at the Queen Bee a couple of years ago and heard you speak, I think, for one of the first times. And just like all of us, we're nervous to get up there, but your voice resonated with me so much because it's not often always the most prominent voice that has a great perspective. It's sometimes the ones that we don't often hear.
I appreciate that.
So that's what I want to talk to you today about. We're going to talk about agents. We're going to talk about the growth of the office because I just learned something new today. It's growing so fast. I can't even keep up with the number of offices, but I also want to hear your perspective on how REVEL started. What was your original role? Because I do believe you were a broker of record. Or
no,
you were selling?
No, kind of a little bit selling, but Ryan was kind of pushing me into selling. But I evolved very much over the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
We started with Ryan being the broker of record.
However,
I would be the broker manager. So I would be the one handling all of the complaints, any issues, any FinTrack issues. I started working as a deals administrator. So at the time with young kids, having my second child, I was working from home a lot. And Ryan would be out there working hard, selling real estate, but also, trying to develop this brand that we created together. So when I initially started, I did have my real estate license, but my intention was never to sell real estate. I just really wanted to understand real estate, the business that we were getting ourselves into.
Yep.
So from there, I just developed my role from deals administrator to accounting coordinator to FinTrack officer to development, helping develop the training and the education and the mentorship, overseeing staff and the growth and the agents and all of the events. So Ryan is the one who I have to give him the credit because he's the one who always thinks of these incredible ideas like REVEL Style Magazine, the REVEL Charity Festival, hosting our REVEL events with extraordinary things that happen at those events.
The talent.
And I'm the one who has to put it into motion.
And follow his inspiration.
Yes. So that has completely evolved over the last 10 years. And really my position today, COO, so we work very closely together, Ryan and I, and we both have the same goals. And how we get there is a little bit different. But we share in each other's successes, and I have a large play in our growth, our retention, and the evolvement of our brand across Ontario.
Once again, like husband and wife coming together and doing this, but you also had family that had real estate background, right? So this
Yes.
wasn't something that was completely foreign to you.
No.
You grew up in a family that predominantly was in real estate as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for the two of you to come together and create this brand, and I'm going to ask you to retell the story, not because I people don't understand where Revel came from. I love it personally, but I also want to hear it from you. And how did you come up with Revel as an independent brokerage?
Yeah. So my husband had been working in real estate for, I believe, around 5 to 7 years at the time when he came to me with this idea of opening up his own real estate office. And at the time, I was operating a flower shop, and I was going on my 7th year. And he said, I want to do this. I want to open up my own real estate brokerage. Are you in? And I said, yes. Sold the business. And then as we were thinking about the name, so many names had crossed our mind, our desk, and I wish we actually kept the list of names.
Yes.
Because for the life of me, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he called me on his way home from work, and he said, I got it. I've got the name. And I said, okay, tell me. He's like, no, I'll tell you when I get home. I need to see the look on your face in person. So he came home. I'll never forget. I was at the island, and that's when he spoke to me, and he said, Revel. And at the time, I was like, it's brilliant. Like, Revel means to celebrate loud, celebrate your like prized possessions, celebrate selling real estate, celebrate moments in your home with your family. So not only did it resonate for us to use this name for our company, but it is a name that everyone can use when they are purchasing or selling their home, their prized possession.
And I love that. And actually, it's funny because you both tell the story, but like the little nuances of how he came to you. And that's why I really wanted to hear from your perspective, because that's a big deal to open up. Well, first of all, to open up an independent brokerage. And then a name that you have to stick with.
Yeah.
And to have such a powerful background on how that name came to fruition is why I love it. And then you think of other ways we've used it as a company, revolutionize the way we sell real estate, revolutionary, right?
Yes.
So it's like very catchy, but it also has a really sincere meaning to it about why it is that we sell real estate, or how we sell real estate, or how we feel about selling real estate. And I got to ask this question because I've never heard it from you. What was your goal in year one? What was when you said, okay, we're opening up this brokerage, what was your goal in your 5-year plan? Like, what were your conversations like? Because then the next question is, did you think you'd be here now with 34 offices in 10 years?
So we both come from an entrepreneurial background. So giving up or settling for less is not part of our DNA.
Yeah.
Everything we do it with like proper execution so that it can be a success. So when we first opened up Revel, I think our initial goal was just to, maybe it seemed a little bit small-minded, but it was just to do real estate different in Niagara.
Yeah.
Because we had opportunities to join other companies, and we had other opportunities to purchase franchise brands, and it just was not part of our future. We just felt like we wanted to do something different. And so when we opened up Revel initially, obviously we wanted to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
And we just did that together, and we grew the brand together in Niagara. And I really do think that because of the certain things that we imposed in the beginning, it really stood out.
Yes.
It was a more team collaborative approach to selling real estate. And back then, like, you are an independent contractor. You're technically on your own. And that's just the way it has been. It was at that time for many, many years. So our initial goal was to just be that alternative in the Niagara area. And from there, it caught on. people liked what we were doing and they wanted to be part of it. So then we brought agents into our office, amazing leaders, incredible teams. And from there, we grew several offices in the Niagara region. And at that time, our goal was to expand in the Niagara region. So obviously your goals evolve every single year.
Absolutely they do, yes.
And if you ask me today, did I see myself here 10 years ago? No, I definitely didn't. But now that we are here, we do have grander goals.
Yes.
And obviously, one of our largest goals is agent retention.
Yeah.
We want to make sure all of our agents are happy, and we are growing the individual offices of the markets that we are in with incredible agents to our already amazing leaders. And then on top of that, be able to expand across Ontario and even across Canada to help support our existing leaders and just to create our own network.
Yeah, well, for referrals. Yes. I mean, the list goes on. And I think what I find really interesting, because I knew Ryan from high school. There was an age gap there. So I was in grade 10. He was in OAC. Grade 9 and he was in OAC. And then he went off to play basketball. And Ryan Serravalle at Monsignor Clancy was a big deal because he was an exceptional basketball player. And then when you get into the real estate space, I'm like, oh, he has an office. So I watched you guys a little bit from the sidelines, like, oh, they're doing things really differently. Your Jennifer Blakely photos, they really stood out. Something different in real estate. Those black and white, they're so full of life. They're not your typical portrait, your real estate portrait where it's like everyone's like.
She captures the excitement.
She does.
In
and
agents,
she's phenomenal.
She really is.
But also just the way you execute your marketing, the way you execute your verbiage, like the stylism. Or the brand of Revel was really interesting to watch. And so it's not really a surprise to me that since I've been with the office since 2021, my goodness,
I know,
it's
right?
crazy. It's not surprising to me that you have now like 20 more offices, because I was so kind of inspired by your brand and it was very captivating to me. And I mean, obviously the big, I guess more big box like Remaxes and stuff. They have amazing platforms. They obviously have the longevity in the real estate market. They've done an exceptional job growing their brands. But they are, to me, they didn't stand out as much in terms of being a little bit more different, a little more edgy. We haven't spoken about, but the tech side. Of Revel was another big one for me with Revel Ed. Even the platforms that you use with the Google Drive, KV Core, or they just changed the name Bold Trail, I think it is.
Yeah,
I still call it KV Core, but there was so much more to Revel. But what got me was it felt like a family. So when we came down to your head office and we met with, I'll just say, I love Dean. Dean is like
Dean's
my
amazing.
all-time favorite.
Yeah,
He also should be, since he's had to back me into with my corner a few times. But it felt like a family, like Fonz and Dean and Rebecca Burden. And everyone is just so happy to be there, if that makes sense.
We really do have like the dream team.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people say it.
Yeah.
But I truly believe it. And it's interesting, but, one of the goals from the beginning was to always make sure everyone's happy. I want everyone to wake up and want to go to work every single day.
Yeah.
So it was really important for us to, obviously we have like our plans and our structures and everything in place, but it's really important to listen to people. And I think that's why we are where we are today. So evolving over the last 10 years with our staff, we have such an incredible team. We listen to their ideas and their concepts. Some of them we implement and some of them we don't.
Of course.
But the listening ears are always on. And even with our team members, our agents, our team leaders, our leaders of our offices, it's so important to accept feedback because that's the only way you'll continue to grow.
Yeah, and I think one of the other thing, which sounds so small, but it's something that I think our values really paralleled. They aligned really well when we joined Revel. Like, I get a birthday present from you guys. I get anniversary flowers for both of my offices. But that I don't think that doesn't fall on me. Like it's not something like, oh, it's an expectation.
Yeah.
I just got a crystal coaster, which by the way, I'm like, that goes in the drawer when my kids are around because I'm the only one who's allowed to use it. But it's little things. You just showed up with a box full of goodies. That is Revel. It's like you really care about your leaders, you care about your staff, even your agents who are on teams or in offices. I mean, I see the emails that come in from Paula. I love Paula. It's been 30 days since you've joined the team. Like, is there anything I can do for you? It's those little things that matter that make you realize that they're not just another agent or another leader. It's we really appreciate you and we want to be here to support you. And that to me is the nice touches that remind you that you're in a very positive culture that supports you and your growth.
I appreciate that. It's never been about a numbers game with us.
Yeah,
so if you
I
asked me, how many agents we need to be at by the end of 2025 or how many offices, we don't need to be at any. We create goals and it's great to achieve them. But what's more important is who we bring around the table.
Yes.
Because we had this conversation before. It's so important to be able to surround yourself with all of your leaders and want to truly hang out with them and be part of their lives.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important to recognize people's milestones. So, the little birthday gifts or anniversary, those are important milestones that should be recognized.
I just don't know that everyone does though, and it's I love it. Like to me, it's like when you get it's like when I get a letter. I love letters. I love handwritten letters. I love cards. So when I get a box and you open it and it's like, this is from Revel. It's from Nicki and Ryan. It's like a birthday celebration or it's an anniversary. It makes you smile. And I think that is also something that people, they may not really, actually, I'm going to say this because I just talked to Carlin on the way. So Carlin's a good friend of mine. She's now joining Revel Burlington, which I'm super pumped about. And we were having this conversation and, going into like how the couple years have been. And she said, you know what, Kate? I said, well, what made you finally make the move? Like, I'm so happy. She actually texted me and let me know on my way home from Curacao, but I was on a plane. And so I called her this morning and I said, what made you finally make that move? And she said, you know what, Kate? She goes, I've come to a point in my life where it's more important for me to surround myself with people that I know I can call and count on in a culture that is so positive and uplifting than to worry about little things like a smaller split, which is so incrementally smaller, and to be in an area that's going to promote my growth and to support me as a person. And that's why I made the move. And that resonated with me because that's exactly how I felt when I was making the move.
I love hearing those stories because it just means we're doing all the right things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can see that by our leaders. Like I always have to apologize to all the head coaches because the last little bit I've just been focusing on the team and the business and whatnot. But when we have this collaborative group chat.
Yes, the chat that I'm not part of.
You know what?
It's
you might be okay.
Because it's head coaches only.
It's head coaches only. But it is strictly about business.
I think it's great.
It is amazing. And like the sharing is unbelievable. If I was not in Revel and I was going to open an office or a team office or whatever the case may be, and I knew how empowering the other leaders were with each other, and I had a snapshot of that group chat, I'd be like, wow, these people really care.
Like
sharing their business plans, sharing their ideas, what programs they use. Hey guys, here's all of my stuff.
I love it.
Give me a call if you need or you have any questions.
That's the collaborative over the individual.
It is.
Old school mentality.
It is.
We've got 36 leaders on a group chat together.
Yes.
Collaborating, sharing, and being more than giving.
Yes.
I love that.
And we've had head coach meetings where I've gone down and sat in Burlington, Niagara. I've had Woodstock come to us on our, we have lunch and learns. Mm-hmm. So we have, within our area, I mean, obviously we know that we can't get the people from like Timmins or Muskoka to come down. I mean, there's a driving distance. And we've sat down and we've said, here, this is what we do. Or here, hey, this is how we do our business or what the tools that we implement. Or I've given out my kind of job tasks for each of my customer care and concierge, director of operations, communications, social media, and like daily, weekly, monthly tasks. I'm like, here, this is what they do. And the fun thing about that is I know that if I needed something, and I have, they've given it back to me. That's, I think, rare.
Yeah, everyone reciprocates, and
Yeah.
everyone is more than happy to give and provide their best and their top and their anything that they're knowledgeable in that helps makes their team and their agents and their offices successful.
So now where do you see, so now, I mean, you're here and you've got all these offices, and obviously the leaders are amazing. The head office, or HQ, I love it when they call it HQ, is amazing. Where do you see now in 2025? And then where do you see yourself in 5 years with this? Like from your perspective, because it's a lot running these offices, right? Your leaders are obviously very independent and capable of doing the vast majority of the daily tasks. But where do you see that going in the next year or 5 years?
Yeah, so I think before we do a lot of expansion, I'm not sure if you know this, but we are adding to our team. So we need to make sure that we are full in our back end in order for us to be able to provide to the front end. So we've been in the midst of hiring and just adding to our already incredible team that we have at our office. So we've grown in the marketing department, the accounting department. We're going to be bringing on somebody to offer Dean additional support.
Okay.
Yes, as well as John Dobigan additional support. So you're going to see a little bit of movement.
Wow.
We'd like to promote within as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then we'll be adding to the team. So that is going to help us with our growth for 2025.
Amazing.
So where do we see us in 2025? We want to be in more areas in Ontario. Yeah. So obviously a major focus and push in Ontario. We need to find incredible leaders like yourself and the other 35 awesome leaders that we have to add to the team. And we do want to go outside of Ontario. So,
I love that.
Yeah, we've been talking to certain individuals in other provinces, and I do see that in our future for 2025.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And is that, like, does that require, and I plead ignorance. I've done a couple referrals out east during COVID when there was that big push going out east.
Yes.
Is there like differences in like rules and regulations?
Yes.
And so that'll be another expansion of knowledge too, right?
Yes, definitely different broker of record.
Yeah.
A different way of doing, obviously, different way of doing business, meaning like different protocols, expectations, different boards.
Yeah.
So we have been looking into that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and just having conversations with people out east and west. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I think it's just important for us to vocalize how we do business at REVEL and how it really is an opportunity for leaders to be able to have a location without having all the extra burden.
Yeah.
So we'll take care of your deals. We take care of your onboarding. We take care of the mentorship and the education. And so it's also us working with other leaders to educate them on everything that we provide.
And that's a big thing too. I mean, that was that was the bonus of joining REVEL, was because I really did want my own location. I wanted my team to be my team, and I wanted us to have a share in the marketplace where it was like our team could kind of stand out. And there is always that worry about, well, will our brands work together? They worked seamlessly. But one of the things I loved about REVEL was I am not a paper pusher. I don't want to deal with that stuff. Not my forte. And the fact that the office allows leaders to step into that leadership role that they're really good at. But most of us aren't necessarily great at doing the back end of stuff in terms of the accounting and like putting the transactions together, making sure that all the paperwork gets to lawyers. Like our team runs pretty efficiently, but also the broker of record. That's a huge responsibility. Trust accounts.
Yes.
So it gives people a platform to do that and shine in that leadership role, but not have to worry about all the other stuff that is very time consuming. Dean's role, I don't know how Dean does it.
I know.
But
I know.
It's a lot.
It is. It is a lot. And it's been a process. And we've certainly developed over the course of 10 years. I can't believe 10 years. I'm sitting here saying
Unbelievable.
that. Yes. And we're just going to continue to grow with great people, like-minded individuals who want to achieve the same goals, to be successful.
So here's a question. And I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but if you had your perfect agent, what were the qualities that they would look for? So if we have people that are out there thinking like, man, I either want to get into real estate, or maybe I'm in real estate, I'm in my brokerage, maybe I'm not totally fulfilled, I don't know why. What would you say to them? Like, what are the qualities that you would really mesh well with the REVEL culture?
I definitely think you have to be a team player.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to be educated enough in the real estate to be able to provide your clients with the best experience.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, we'd be able to help you through our mentorship and our education programs. So I definitely think you have to set goals.
Yeah.
You have to be a goal setter. You have to try to achieve those goals. You have to work hard.
Yeah.
I think that, we've onboarded so many new agents with zero experience. So for me to say you have to be this and you have to be that, we can help develop those.
Yeah.
So I don't think that everyone has to have those skills, but I think knowing that these are the types of skills you need, and if you don't have them, we can help develop them along the way.
Yeah. And I think inherently there's one quality that I see in every agent encounter. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, except literally all the agents that I've either done transactions with, have collaborated with, have head coaches, they're good people.
They are.
Like, they're just genuinely good people.
Yeah. We definitely love to have good people on our team. And I think because we have so many great leaders, good people are attracted to good people. Yeah. So I think that the more we continue to grow, I think we'll still continue to grow with great people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've always taken away. And actually, my team comments that at any function, your galas, the Christmas gala, the charity balls, you guys are one heck of a party. I will say that. But to honor everyone at REVEL and to also help support the community they're just good people.
Yeah, we're really blessed.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, we are. And we like to throw great parties, and it's not for everybody, which means just because you're part of a brokerage doesn't mean you have to attend those events.
No, of course not.
If you're an introvert, fine, that's great, no problem. But if you're an extrovert, come on over.
Well, I put my extrovert pants on for your parties because I have one heck of a time. I mean, they're amazing. And it's that one night you get to go out and you get just to celebrate.
Exactly.
Successes with the company, with your team, with yourself, the community. So it's good.
Yes.
I think that it's not just about the party. It's about bringing everyone together.
And connecting.
Exactly.
And we host 6 events every other month on purpose. And the reason why we do that is because we want to bring people together. We want to bring the new agents in with the experienced agents. We want them to connect. We want our leaders from Timmins and our leaders from Niagara to be able to connect.
Yeah.
I think it's important to create those relationships and bonds.
Yeah.
And that's why we always have those events in place. It's so important. It's not just about the party.
No, it's definitely not. But I do love it. It's one night to let go and celebrate with the people that you have worked so hard with for the last 6 months or a year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then 2025, from the COO, CFO perspective, because if you talk to the boots on the ground running people, like if I were to talk to Nicki Serravalle about what the outlook was, which I'm actually going to send him the clip, I'm not going to put it on here, of what his prediction was for 2024.
Yeah.
He won the battle.
Of course.
His prediction was spot on. What is your prediction for 2025? Coming from what you see, the energy in behind the scenes, you see the transactions coming through, even though, you say you're not selling, you've got one heck of a salesperson as a husband, but you also have yourself with 450 plus agents to know, what do you think the general vibe is going to be in 2025?
So the last couple of years have been challenging.
Yep.
And it was let's survive until 2025, right? I truly believe that we are going to thrive in 2025.
Yeah.
So that's actually the name of our tip-off for February.
For February.
Thrive in 2025. Because I
love
really
that.
do feel like it's going to be a year for people to put those bad years in the past,
Yeah.
focus on business, create your goals, set the goals in place.
Yeah.
Every December, I get a piece of paper and I write down my goals.
I love that.
And I think it's so important to do this. I actually write down the goals with intentions of it being December of the following year.
So it's like a letter to your future self.
100%.
I love that.
I think it's so important to do that. This way you set your goals, you set your expectations, and you add in a little bit of like crazy goals. Because,
the carrot that you chase. Yeah,
absolutely. And then you have to create a plan. So how am I going to get there?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for people to have their goals in place, create a strategy on how I'm going to get there. Do I need to involve myself in more events? Do I need to take on coaching?
Yep.
Do I have to be more productive? Do I have to go out and farm? Whatever it is that you have to do, whether it's personal, working out, getting up at 5 a.m. I can't get up at 5 a.m., by the way. I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
You and Ryan both, you kill me. I can't do it. I'm the night owl. I'm the night owl. You'll see me up until 1 o'clock in the morning, but I am not a morning person.
I'd be dead. I'd be dead. There's no way.
So you have to set your goals and you have to figure out how to achieve them. And then in December of 2025, open up that piece of paper or take a photo of it if you're going to lose it and look at it, because I guarantee you majority of those items, if not all of them, will be met.
I love that you said this, because I learned this with Kathleen Black, because I was in her coaching program for several years. Marissa was my coach. And one of my biggest takeaways, and I've done it every year since, is the letter to your future self, written as if the year had already happened.
Yes.
And I love that. And I can truly attest to this, that there has been some crazy eye-opening things that have happened in the last couple of years, both personal and professional, that have been so specific, that carrot, and I have achieved those. And it's also a reminder that you can do what you set your mind to, but you have to have that in your mind and you have to execute it and live it as if you've already done it.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it, right? So you think it's going to be a thrive in 2025?
I definitely think it's going to be a
agree
thrive.
with this Serravalle. I did not agree with Ryan last year. I'm like the eternal optimist of like, he's like, no, Kate, I think this is going to be hard, but we're going to get through it.
Yes.
I'm like, no, it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
It was hard.
Yes, he's more realistic.
He is a very realistic person. And I love that, because sometimes us who are I'm a little bit in the clouds, like, no, it's going to be great.
Me too.
But I actually do agree with you. I think the sentiment, people I've spoken to, that wasn't happening last year, the energy, I think people are ready to get out of what was happening and to just be happy and live their life and look at things with a more positive lens.
I agree.
Because it's been a hard 4 years. Ever since 2020, it's been hard. It's impacted everyone in very different ways.
Yes.
But I think that's going to be my quote for the year. Thrive in 2025. I love that. Well, I mean, I truly appreciate you being here. I love your perspective.
Thank you.
I love your energy. I think that you are an incredible leader. I think being a female, for me, gives a lot of other female entrepreneurs to see your success, but also how you carry yourself through that success and how you give to others and how you've created such a beautiful culture within Revel.
Thank you.
It gives them something to aspire to be, and I think that that's really important.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I love that you're here, and I love that we're ending the year. We're bookcasing the year with two Serravalles, so it's amazing. So if you want to watch the full podcast with Nicki, you can watch it on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast. It will be released the first of the year, January 1. So,
I will look forward to listening to it.
Yes, and it will be the Thrive in 2025. So thank you once again for coming. And if people want to find you,
at Nicki Serravalle on Instagram.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Nicki.
Yes, Nicki Serravalle.
And that's the best way to get a hold of, but also through Revel HQ.
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach out to me through our website, revelrealty.ca. Nicki at revelrealty.ca is my email.
And if someone's maybe wanting to have a conversation in terms of joining the brokerage, maybe brokerage opportunities to open up.
Yep.
this is the person to speak to amongst many others in head office.
Yes.
And I hope people do reach out because it was, I can honestly say that you have pivotal moments in your career. Joining Revel will always be one of those ones way up on the list.
Oh,
It's been a
appreciate
beautiful
that.
experience.
It has truly been a beautiful experience having you on our
thank
team
you.
and the growth that came with it as well.
Yeah,
you've been very influential, so I appreciate that as well.
Well, we're all here to just grow and glow.
Yes.
So once again, Nicki Serravalle, REVEL Realty, thank you for joining.
Thank you.